What's up, guys? Welcome to Riz Tantun, where we exercise the grace of Rizability to evangelize. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Daniel. Today we're going to talk about the Fortitude of the Martyrs.
Daniel, why don't you tell me a little bit about what fortitude is?
Well, fortitude is the virtue that allows us to remain steadfast and courageous against anything that challenges us.
Wow, fortitude sounds awesome. I'm so excited to do this.
Me too. Okay, I'm Daniel, and this is...
I'm Michael.
Michael, nice to meet you. And
I'm Michael's friend.
Michael's friend. And today we're going to talk about the fortitude of saints. The one saint I want to talk about is St. Maximillian Kolbe. St. Maximillian Kolbe, during the time of World War II, he was a Catholic priest in Poland, and he was a Franciscan friar. And during this time of German persecution in Poland, he was sheltering Jews in his home, which you should probably know was illegal.
Yeah.
And they found that out, and they arrested him. They took him to Auschwitz, and he lived there. And while he was in Auschwitz, one prisoner escaped, and they randomly selected 10 prisoners to execute as punishment. And there was a lineup of 10 men, and they took St. Maximilian Kolbe. He said, take my place. He volunteered himself to go and stand in the line to take out a father of a family, and as their punishment, they were selected to go starve to death. They had no food, no water for 2 weeks, but none of them died. And while he was there, he kept praying to God, and he had a strong faith in God, and they stayed alive. And so they finally said, "Okay, we're just going to kill them," because they did not die. And then they died of lethal injection in 1941, and so it's just a story of courage and fortitude, and just being really strong in your faith. And my one question for you is there any example that you could do in your day-to-day life that could show this fortitude and show this courage?
Well, I mean, I guess just something that I do just in my day-to-day life. I try, whenever I see like a homeless person on the side of the road, I try to give them like whatever spare change or a dollar bill that I have. So I guess something like that. And then I don't know, just like try to be nicer in day-to-day life. And I guess I should probably be better at praying every day, because I don't know, I pray sometimes, but definitely not as much as I probably should. So I guess just
Okay,
something like that.
great.
Yeah, I mean,
Hello,
it's
everyone. I'm here with
Greg.
Craig. All right, Craig. So he asked, who are the saints? So the saints are essentially individuals that we recognize within the Catholic Church as have living exceptional lives in holiness and witness to Jesus Christ. There's a Saint Thomas More. I don't know if you've ever heard his name. Saint Thomas More was born in 1478 in Britain, London, and he was born into a noble Catholic family. And he grew up a very, very studious young man. He was a lawyer, and was eventually elected to the British Parliament, and raised a family of his own, and was appointed Lord Chancellor to King Henry VIII when he was 51 years old. And while in office, King Henry was having some marital issues. King Henry was married to Catherine of Aragon. Together they had a daughter named Mary. And Henry wasn't too happy about having a daughter. He didn't think a female would be up for the throne, so he wanted a son. But at that point, Catherine was too old to bear another child, so Henry had his eyes on a younger woman. But in order to divorce Catherine and marry Anne, who was the younger woman, Henry needed permission from the Pope. So he goes to the Pope and asks the Pope for permission to basically divorce from Catherine and marry the younger woman. And but of course the Pope refuses his request, and King Henry, outraged, goes back to Britain and declares himself the head of the Church of England, and essentially makes the Anglican denomination, if you've ever heard of Anglicanism. And St. Thomas More, being a very devout Catholic, was very disappointed by his king's decision. So St. Thomas More quietly resigns from his position as Lord Chancellor, and unfortunately, a few years later, King Henry mandates that all the nobles and clergy of the church pledge an oath of obedience to Henry's authority and denounce their allegiance to the Pope in Rome. And when St. Thomas More refuses to do so, he's imprisoned in the Tower of London and executed on July 6, 1535, by beheading. And his last words were, "I die as the king's good servant, but God's first." And he specifically is just a really profound example of being righteous in the face of persecution. I just want to leave you with one question here. What is something that you could implement in your daily life to maybe express fortitude?
Express fortitude.
Yeah.
I think expressing gratitude in the face of adversity,
Yeah.
circumstances, and trying to find the positive in every situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Daniel. I'm here with, what's your name?
Masood.
Masood.
Yeah.
Today I'd like to talk about 21 Coptic Orthodox martyrs who were killed for their faith in Libya. They were from Egypt, and they were working. They traveled down to Libya to go find work, and they were controlled by are you familiar? Terrorist organization ISIS.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while they were in Libya, they were arrested for their faith, and they were held captive. They were starved. They were tortured, and they were told to renounce their faith. But they remained strong and courageous amidst all this, and they showed great fortitude. They never renounced their faith in God, and they were steadfast in their religion. And so, basically, what ISIS did is they took them to a beach in Libya, and they recorded a video of them being executed, and even in the face of death, they never rejected their faith, which I think is a very good example of fortitude and staying strong in your religion. And I have one question for you. How can you implement this courage and this fortitude in your life?
It's a good thing that they are in their faith, even though in everything they should be like this.
Okay, here I am with.
My name's Luke Weston.
I'm going to tell you about Saint Perpetua and Felicity. So Perpetua and Felicity were two young women who were born around the late 2nd century in modern-day Tunisia, and at the time, their home country was governed by the Roman Empire, and the current ruler was Emperor Severus, who was massively persecuting Christians at the time. And Perpetua and Felicity identified themselves as Christians, and because they refused to renounce their faith, they were arrested and thrown into an arena where they were fed to lions. So I'm wondering, in your daily life, how can you implement more maybe acts of fortitude?
So yeah, I mean, I could say I could be a little nicer, more compassionate with people at school.
Yeah.
'Cause, sometimes I get a little pissed because people get on my nerves.
Heard.